Renegade was a beat-em-up arcade game released by Taito in 1986 and was ported to various consoles, including the version I'll be talking about here, the NES. Although Double Dragon put the genre on the map, Renegade actually came out first and was instrumental in the former's existence. As you'd expect, it's an isometric view beat-em-up where a bunch of assholes are out to beat the shit out of you. And that's literally the plot of the game. You're some dude who, for no reason whatsoever, suddenly comes under attack from about 100 different thugs. What's unique about Renegade are the fighting mechanics. Instead of having one button to attack and another to jump, or one for punch and one for kick, you're actually using the A button to attack enemies to the right of you, while B attacks enemies from the left. And these pricks will come at you from all angles, 3 at a time max, so you'll often have to fend people off from both sides simultaneously. Aside from the punches and kicks, you can also do a jumping kick, a throw, and the patented sit on your opponent's chest and smash him in the face with your fist technique, plus a knee to the nuts. The most effective attack, though, are the running punches, because as long as you time it right, you won't get hit. You'll be able to take out multiple enemies in one go, and you'll avoid the dreaded counterattacks. If you do the standard punches, you want to do a hit and run technique because you'll get countered after getting a couple hits in, and some of these pricks will wring your neck, which can deal some heavy damage. So this running attack will minimize your damage. You can also do a running jump kick, but because you'll land several feet away from your striking position, it's a little more difficult to time. The problem though with these running attacks is how you have to execute them. To run, you have to tap the direction you want to run and then hold down the same direction. It's pretty awkward, especially if you want to pull off consecutive running blows. Even after getting past the learning curve, it's pretty clunky to control. On top of that, the game also gets monotonous, which is pretty much always the critique of this genre, but there are ways to overcome this, like having more variety in the enemy department, maybe throw in some weapons, give you some power-ups, etc. And there really isn't a lot of that in this game, although to be fair, there are basic power-ups like health, extra life, and invincibility. And there is a motorcycle segment in one of the stages as a change of pace. But there still could have been a little bit more to spice up the stew. Speaking of power-ups, the means to acquire them is one of the strangest I've seen in a video game. You get the hamburgers, which restore your health completely, or the power icons, which will temporarily take out enemies in one punch. You have to kick the walls or jump kick an enemy when the last 2 digits of the time limit reaches a specific number. And not only do they tell you this secret in the manual, well I guess it's not a secret now, is it? But they also divulge the level skip code in the manual. I mean, why not just give us an option in the menu to start where we want, if you're gonna be so upfront about it? The game is pretty short anyway, there are only 4 stages, but that might actually be a bit of a help in keeping the game from dragging on too long. Little goes a long way when the content is kinda samey. Despite the flawed controls and the repetitive nature of the game, I do have to say that there's still an addictive quality to it. It's just something about the simplicity of beating the shit out of someone that's very satisfying. There are better games in the genre, but for the time when Streets of Rage, River City Ransom, or Double Dragon were options, you could satisfy your urge to kick some ass with Renegade. So the first mission takes place on a subway platform. You go up against some street punks, one of which has a stick. Perform running attacks against him. You don't want to face him toe-to-toe, or you're likely to take a stick to the face. Like every other opponent throughout the game, it takes a few knockdowns each before they're done for. But you can chuck these guys off the platform, which does them in completely. At the same time, you can fall in yourself and lose a life, so be careful with the running. You don't want to overshoot. And running to the wall on the other side will knock you down, so you're not totally safe over there either. You have 2 minutes to take them all out, and once you do, the door opens and you get on the train. Here you'll fight more of the same punks, and you get another 2 minutes to wipe them all out. In fact, I might as well just say right now that it's 2 minutes in all of the rooms throughout the game. This area is basically the same as the last one, without the pit, and there's less room to maneuver. After taking them all out, you'll move on to the boss, this shit for brains named Jack. He's more ferocious with his punches than the slobs you were facing earlier, and if he gets a hold of you, you're bound to take consecutive shots to the face, wiping out several bars of health. Hit him with running attacks, and don't even try to climb on top of him. He'll shove you off before you can deal any damage, and it'll kill whatever momentum you might have had. After taking him out, it's on to Mission 2, where you'll face off against some more of the same street punks from Mission 1, although they're decked out in different clothes, and they don't have that doofy look on their faces. But it's essentially the same shit, so use the same strategy to defeat them. And then these biker fucks will come after you. Yeah, these guys are real tough. They need a goddamn vehicle to do their fighting for them. Do jump kicks to knock them off their bikes as they come after you. You have to time it pretty well or you'll get knocked on your ass. Thankfully, it only takes one hit for each to take them out. After taking down a few of them, you'll steal one of their bikes and advance to the driving portion of the game. You'll ride alongside other bikers who try to knock you off the road. Press down and B to kick them off their ride. Just watch out for the edge of the road. You don't want to get knocked off of it, so try to keep yourself on the top half of the screen. After getting through them all, it's on to the boss, this dipshit Joel. It's basically the same battle as Jack. Don't get close for too long so you avoid his clinch, and hit him with your running attacks until you wipe him out. It's on to Mission 3, where you'll do what any Street Fighter worth his salt does best: beat up chicks. These girls, referred to as Kung Fu females, smack you with their chains and purses. You definitely want to be fleet of foot here. I mean, it's pretty much been the main strategy for the majority of the game so far, but it's far more important against these Sheilas because they'll gang up on you and fuck you up. So you need to be on the move at all times. Retreat if you end up with too many around you at any given time. Blast them with your running attacks until you take them out, and once you clear the area, you get 2 doors to choose from. If you take the left one, it's more of the same Kung Fu females. Once you take them all out, then it's on to the final mission. No boss here. If you take the right door, then you fight the boss instead, this huge woman named Kim. She's pretty slow, but if she grabs you, she'll bitch slap you like crazy and deal some serious damage. Stick with the running attacks to avoid the clinch as much as possible, and after enough hits, you're done with the stage. I'd say that the easier path is to fight the Kung Fu females in the bar, but if you feel like it's a bit of a cheap move to avoid the boss fight, then by all means take on Kim. This final mission is a maze of rooms. You'll fight some schmucks, clear the room, and the door to the next area will open like most of the game has been played so far, but there are a shit ton of rooms here. It's not linear, and you could end up backtracking if you take the wrong door. Thankfully though, you don't have to kill as many enemies per screen as you've been accustomed to so far, so there's a bit of a reprieve there. On the first screen, you've got some street thugs. Use the same strategy on them as you've done prior, and enter the door on the right once you clear the area. Next room has more of these guys. Take them out and enter the door on the left. And now you've got the toughest part of the level, at least if you take this optimal path. Jack cloned himself apparently, or he has a twin brother because you have to fight 2 of them in here. Once again, keep your distance between the running attacks. You don't want to get clinched, and it's twice as hard when there's a second one roaming around trying to snuff you out. After taking them out, go through the door on the left, and you've got a round with some more bikers. Why they're riding indoors is beyond me. Kick their asses off the bikes, and go through the center door when it opens. Now you've got another round with some more bikers. Do the same thing, and enter the door on the right, and it'll lead you to the final boss, Sabu. He moves around at a normal pace, taking jump kicks every now and again, but his biggest threat is his gun. He'll whip this sucker out from time to time, and one shot will kill you on the spot. Thankfully, he only fires 1 shot at a time, but it won't always travel straight, so get the fuck away whenever he brandishes the damn thing. The one safe spot you can find yourself in is right up in his grill. Of course, then you're susceptible to his jump kicks, but that's nowhere near as bad as taking a bullet. So either get up close, hit him with jump kicks, and hope that you can do more damage to him than he does to you, or do running attacks. Just be prepared to get the hell out of dodge if the gun shows up. After dealing out enough hits, you'll finish him off, and BAM! Directly into the game credits. So that was an abrupt fucking ending. And that's it. That's Renegade. on the first difficulty level. The harder difficulties are really the same, except the enemies are faster, tougher in general to defeat, and have an increased number, including the fucking boss fights. But there's otherwise no need to go through all 3 of them for this video. There would be a sequel, Target Renegade, but we'll save that one for another time. And that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next.